Guerrero's case and some other cases we've seen in more recent years, it's kind of a tradition to put somebody in the Hall of Fame a year after something unfortunate happens to them. So hopefully we'll see Paul Bearer in the Hall of Fame by 2014. And you actually mentioned Trish Stratus. I actually had a chance to see her perform it live in 2004, and she actually acknowledged me in the crowd by using her index finger, that trademark pose that she does. So that's something that I haven't forgot from January of 2004. Who are some other notable names that you've worked with on the independent circuit besides Buddy Landell, if you can throw some our way here?
Ricky Morton.
Yeah.
I worked with Ricky Morton, Rock and Roll Express. He's real cool, you know. He's been through it all. Midnight Express, you know, he wrestled them back in the day. They had a war, Midnight Express and Rock and Roll Express. And we can't book Randy, or I'd work with him too, because he's in the WWE and they don't allow him to come down to independent organizations. So.
Yeah, one thing about Bob Orton is Bob Orton doesn't come cheap, and Bob Orton will not do anything unless it's for a significant amount of money. The dollar value has to be the right amount for Bob Orton to do anything. I really hate to say that about Bob Orton, but Bob Orton is one of those guys who's kind of there just to reap the benefits of it. And if you don't get any benefits from it, you're not going to see him. I remember a couple of years ago, because these interviews are independently done, he turned us down. But that didn't take away from what I was able to do, having the chance to speak to so many legends through all the years. But I find that the Ortons have to do things very professional, and that's one incredible thing about them. But they're not there unless the dollar value is right, and that's really unfortunate because they're so credible talents, you know.
Yeah, but they're real good guys, and Randy, he's that's who I kind of like my role model. I go by where he goes. Just looking at him is actually what made me get into business. And I just took it from there and poured my heart out to it.
I remember actually being at a WWE house show, I think it was back in 2003, and the fans in particular, the thousands that were there, were particularly enthralled with Randy Orton. They were really impressed with Randy Orton. That night, actually, he took on RVD for the Intercontinental title, and the one thing that stood out about him, he was awesome in that match. The one thing that stood out about him was just the physical condition that he was in, and the thing that the fans were saying about him, the commentary kind of they were passing, was that the guy looked like he was chiseled out of stone, and that was one thing that caught my attention actually from a conversation that was actually taking place from a few fans outside the arena after the event. So I can only imagine what kind of comments he's getting now since he's metamorphosized into the Viper. So let's hope. I was really hoping he was going to face The Undertaker this year at WrestleMania, but Punk is in there now.
Yes.
What do you think?
Yeah, I seen that coming.
I would have really preferred Randy Orton. What do you think about Punk in there? Do you think Punk's going to be able to perform just as good as Randy Orton did 6 years ago?
Sir, I think that Randy should have been in there because Punk, they get Punk's spotlight. Randy should have been on top of the game in that one.
Yeah, and there's this hype that CM Punk's going to be the one to end the Undertaker streak. I'll believe that when I see that.
Yeah, I don't think that will happen. Undertaker's already beat everybody in the business, including Ric Flair. He even wrestled Randy at Mania and beat him.
Yeah.
And that won't happen.
His 13th victim actually was Randy Orton from 2005, and Bob Orton actually was in his corner for that.
Yeah, he was in his corner.
I'll never forget that.
Sure was.
Then they did a spin-off in October. By October, I think it was 2-on-1 in a casket match. That was great. You mentioned
I love it.
You mentioned Ricky Morton too. Very quickly here, you mentioned Ricky Morton, and I had a chance to interview him maybe about 3 years ago, and it was actually when he was on the road. We lost him a couple of times during the interview, during a live broadcast, and we finally caught up with him for probably the 4th time when he was in the mountains. We managed to conclude the interview despite the technical difficulties. But one thing that I found out about Ricky Morton really quickly was that Ricky Morton is just so down to earth and so laid back after all these years of wrestling. I guess it's kind of just paying off for him. Do you find that he's really laid back and easy to work with?
Yes, he is. He has a thing now that he hates Kevin Nash, because Kevin Nash, all he cares about is money, And I find that, you know, they're making money by that, by hating each other, and they really hate each other. And I find that he's really good to work with. He taught me a lot. You know, he's a good influence, just like Buddy Lindell is, sir.
Back in, I believe it was January of this year, Kevin Nash actually appeared on a Legend City Wrestling show, which is a Canadianly ran independent organization. And a very close friend of mine actually spoke to one of the wrestlers on this independent show that Kevin Nash was featured on. He was scheduled to face Kevin Nash, and Kevin Nash basically judged this guy before he even stepped in the ring with him. He was paid a significant amount to show up. Him and Bret Hart were. They both showed up. Bret Hart came out and cut a promo at the end of the show. Very unbeneficiary, by the way, but he did it. And Kevin Nash actually denied wanting to face this guy. They had to change the card and put Kevin Nash in the ring with an opponent he believed to be more formidable, because he believed that this 19-year-old rookie wasn't good enough to step inside of the ring with Kevin Nash. You'd think Nash would have been more concerned with trying to make this guy into, you know, the next big thing on the independent circuit, so to say. I know he has a long way to go. But maybe that's why Nash has so much frustration, you know, coming from all these people on the independents. I think that his reputation is slowly but surely, you know, kind of declining to nothing, and it's just sad, especially with how, you know, the WWF, so to say, ran on diesel power in '95. You know, it's just.
Yeah, Kevin Nash, I don't like him either. I mean, he's just cold-hearted.
Maybe one day we'll see Jonathan Clarke versus Kevin Nash on the Independents. I don't know.
Yeah.
That'll be interesting. And something else I got to get your opinion on very quickly before we get you to, you know, promote your show and say some final words. On NXT, I believe it was around the 12th or 13th of February, the all-new NXT, which is must-watch TV for all wrestling fans. I really have to recommend NXT, as I do for all my video commentaries here on YouTube. They had a match with Summer Rae and Paige, this ring announcer. You know, I like some stuff about her, and I don't. I know Divas Wrestling is going through a metamorphosis period where we're always seeing a change. Did you see any of Summer Rae's work prior to her coming into the WWE or this match with Paige? And what are your comments on the Divas division, and in particular Summer Rae?
I really don't watch no NXT, but if I had the chance to work in there, I would. I'd go in a heartbeat. But I just, you know, really don't watch much of that stuff. Divas, I really don't, you know.
Yeah.
Some of them can't work, so.
Very quickly here, you can see a promo video, I believe, on WWE.com where The Undertaker tells Paul Bearer that it's his time to rest in peace. That was a very admirable piece that WWE.com threw up there the other day. I'll be releasing it on our Twitter hopefully over the next few weeks, so make sure you keep paying attention to that. Did you see that video The Undertaker did?
Yes, I did. At the end of it, he said, "Rest in peace." That's just a powerful, powerful video, and I really liked it. You know, I put it all over my Facebook, and, you know, it's hard to see him go like that.
When I die, are you gonna do a tribute for me? Like, are you gonna have like the smoke in your house and the lights turned down with the Undertaker attire and tell me to rest in peace? I just want to go out with a bang, you know, like Paul Bear.
Yeah, that'd be a nice thing to do. You know, I'm glad you saw to interview me and get my name out there.
Oh yeah,
you know, you can get my name out there, and I can go bigger places. You know.
That's no problem. So, just so everybody knows, you have no upcoming shows right now, but you do have one far away, kind of. Do you want to promote that and tell us a little bit about the company that you're working for before we wrap it up?
Yes, sir. I work out of WCW from Detroit, and we got some hard-hitting action there. And, you know, we give the fans our fullest. We'll have any type of match. Other things are, we got some big match cards. We got Legends comes there sometimes. And my trainer, he was even in the WWE under the $1 Billion Babies. And I trained my heart out.
Do you have a website for the promotion? What's the website you guys have?
It's really not. We don't really have a website. It's just Facebook mainly.
Yeah. Find that's the thing. You know, they
World-class promotions.
Okay, World Class Promotions on Facebook. I find that's the thing these days. What they do is people who have independent promotions kind of use Facebook now. Facebook is slowly but surely becoming the substitution for websites now, so that's kind of cool. An easier way to promote yourself. It's not too hard to update. You have the extended info section.
That's right.
You can use the HTML. If you actually go to our Facebook page, you can see how we've used HTML. Pretty cool stuff. Is there anything that you would like to say in closing, Charlie? Do you want to give your condolences out to the family of Paul Bearer, or do you want to say anything to your fans?
To the family of Paul Bearer, I hope you keep your heads up, and there'll be better days. And I hate to see you go like that, Paul, but you know, I had a chance of working with you. You're always nice, and hope you rest in peace, my brother.
Rest in peace, my friend. For Charlie D, I'm your host, Jonathan Clarke. Charlie, it's been a pleasure interviewing you here on YouTube today. Thank you so much.
Hey, thank you for having me on the show.
And I will see you next week.
All right, next week. Yes, sir.
When something takes place in the world of professional wrestling, you know where to go. WrestleZone.com. WrestleZone.com. Covering all the latest breaking news daily. Interactive forums where you can chat with thousands of other wrestling fans. Exclusive editorials and audio features by some of today's top wrestling superstars. Exclusive video content, weekly polls, live play-by-play coverage of every WWE and TNA pay-per-view. And now, featuring WrestleZone Radio, live with news, in-depth discussions, debates, and interviews with wrestling's top stars, past and present. When you think wrestling, think WrestleZone. WrestleZone.com.
He considers himself God's gift to wrestling, and millions of his faithful agree. With nearly 4 hours of footage and exclusive commentary and matches, this DVD chronicles Daniel's rise from Chicago's Windy City Wrestling to the Asylum in Nashville